Welcome to One Church. We welcome everyone from across this gorgeous planet. We are one church, many paths, one mountain, where our mission is what Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Mark Goffney call the planetary awakening in love through a unique self symphony. And together we declare that the last day of the old face of evolution is honored as the first day of the new face of creation. I am Christina Tehel, the co-executive producer, along with Krista, Josepha, and Kirsten Zohar, and I'm so delighted to be here today with everyone. I welcome all the new people. Please do share that you are new in the chat box. We want to hear from you. When you do chat to everyone by checking that your chat settings say all panelists and attendees and not just all panelists. Use the chat function to say hi, to let us know where you're from, and to resonate the Dharma. In one church, many paths, one mountain, we are connected, we are whole, and we are expressions of the entire process of creation. We are activating a new humanity, and we are awakening as a new species. Homo amor, the fulfillment of Homo sapien. We are a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a temple, a zendo. We're all of it. No one is excluded, everyone is included, and we come together to attune to the evolutionary impulse awakening within us. Welcome home, everyone. We are overjoyed to be with you today in week 192. Let everyone know about One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain. We are doing this primarily through word of mouth. Barbara Marx Hubbard talked about each of us having a family of 10 here in church, each of us tending our evolutionary family. And I can say that personally, that's an awesome process, and that leadership around church is a sacred opportunity. On YouTube, we are One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/onechurch.world. And right now, we are live on Facebook, so take a moment and look at your notifications and share that live link on your Facebook page. And after church, we will send you an email to invite your friends and family, and forward that email right after church. Spend time on our website, www.onechurch.world. On the top menu of the home page and on the bottom of each page, you will find our membership link. With that, I give you a little bit of what to expect over this next hour. We begin with our Dharma recap, then Dr. Mark sets our intention, then Tom will resonate the evolutionary love code we are working with, then we move into prayer, then our sermons, and then when we close, we bring everyone on for our goodbyes. Mark wrote what he called evolutionary love codes. Mark and Barbara studied the codes together, often comparing them to Barbara's own 52 codes for conscious self-evolution. These codes grew out of their radical commitment over 100 collective years, crystallizing the new story of humanity. Quote, evolving the course of consciousness and culture, which is the source code of love, unquote. Each church is a standalone, and every week's church builds on the week before. One church, many paths, one mountain is radically committed to telling the new story. So here goes my Dharma recap from last week's church. From contradiction to paradox, the great hope and promise of this moment. There is no way through racism, through catastrophic risk, through climate breakdown, through the huge gap between the haves and the have-nots, without a new story, without a new response to the question of, who am I? We've been cut off from the sacred desire and dignity of who we are. And when that goes underground, it re-expresses itself as the worst forms of fascism. People around the world are shamed, a planet drenched in shame, people losing their jobs all over the place, the pandemic exacerbating the institutional, structural, class inequality. We virtual signal our pain, our beliefs. We don't even know what we believe anymore. Our commitment is to become a new information ecology, to heal the broken information ecology, to come together and to do sense making. We have to call each other to the highest ideals, understand why the good, the true, and the beautiful are actually genuine values. Move from contradiction to paradox, to know that paradise only lives in paradox, to know that we have to go all the way in order to move beyond the social deconstructions of reality. We tell a new story, and that new story is both the failure of frameworks that's devastating us and the new story in which we all have a place where no one's left out, where no one's outside of the circle, where reality is alive, has purpose and direction. That purpose and direction is not owned by one race. It's not owned by one religion. It's not owned by one set vision in which everyone else is dominated. There are different movements. We bow to each other. We hear each other. We feel each other at different moments. When we say all lives matter as a way of avoiding Black Lives Matter, it's a covert form of unlove. And if we say Black Lives Matter in a way that descends into something which doesn't hold the simple truth that there's no one outside the circle, the one race, the human race, and within that one race, there are many races where each one is honored and beautiful, that there's no one outside the circle. Black Lives Matter. There's a legitimate, unique experience which is replete with gorgeousness and beauty and depth and wisdom, and with outrageous pain. We feel each other's pain. We don't weaponize pain. We come together. Every protest is holy. We're all protesters. We're all part of the same story. Madly in love, mad lovers of reality, of each other. It's music. And that music is one love and one heart and one eros and one joy. That music that we're all playing, different notes in the symphony, but underneath the notes, the different unique experiences that never want to be obliterated, that want to be honored in mad devotion. Underneath it all is music, and the music is not race. The music is humanity, homo amor. Reality is an intimate universe. We are unique configurations of intimacy. That which unites us is so much greater than that which divides us. We feel each other. It's a critical moment to feel, to be in our body, to dare the full dignity and delight of our body, to find the sanity, goodness, and to be open to our deepest dignity. No word is wasted. Every word is heard. Every word is inscribed on the heart of the divine. We feel the goodness of our embodiment. Everyone has the same opportunity, the same possibility. And with that, I invite us to more deeply enter into the holy and sacred space of One Church. And I turn my word to you, beloved Dr. Mark.
Thank you, Tahaley. What a gorgeous Dharma recap. And I just want to say, as I listen to the Dharma recap, I'm so proud of who we are here at One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain, and the sense making that we're committed to doing, right? It's such an incredible moment in time. And I want to try with you to unpack this moment and the complexity of the moment and the pain of the moment and the joy of the moment, right? The invitation of the moment. And this week, what we'd like to do is to point towards, we're going to do certain pointing out instructions that we're not going to unpack all the way, right? In the last 2 weeks, we did these huge pieces, and let's see if we can bring all of our attention together. Let's bring all of our hearts together. Let's bring all of our hands together. Let's feel the widest picture. First, let's feel Corona. You notice we've forgotten that there was a coronavirus almost, but across the world, there are Corona outbreaks. There are in many states in the United States, the highest numbers we've seen so far. People are out of breath in this moment, and because they're out of social media feeds, doesn't mean they're out of our field of attention. And it's one of the first pointing outs I want to just offer as we start. We're about to go into Amor, right? Our chant. And we're going to go into our code for this week. And setting our intention, I just want to point out a few pointing outs that are absolutely critical. One is we actually hold our field of attention beyond social media feeds. No video that I saw on Twitter or no video that I didn't see can actually form my understanding of any situation. That's unbelievably important. And as in order to create the next stage in the evolution of love, I can't be determined by social media feeds. I can't be determined by Twitter mobs descending on me, whether on the left or on the right. I can't be determined by Trumpian Twitter mobs, nor can I be determined by woke police demanding their Stalinist confessions. And I have to virtue signal in order to survive. We got to be able to actually do sense making. Does everyone feel that? We got to be able to have a conversation. Conversation is the single most important tool that we have. The single most important, and in the original Hebrew, the word for Messiah, right, which is the vision of a better world, the vision of a deeper world, right, is conversation. Mashiach, Messiah, in Hebrew means siach, conversation. Now let's see if we can feel this for a second, okay? Right, let's feel each other. Life is a series of conversations. Does everyone get that? Life is a series of conversations. That's what it is. That's been true from the beginning. And in the human being, the conversations that began between subatomic particles who came together, who placed attention on each other and formed a larger whole, those conversations now become conscious, they become awake, they become alive. And in conversation, and stay with me, let's feel each other, let's hold hands. In conversation, our baseline has to be facts. Barack Obama, in his closing talk before he left the presidency, said correctly that if we lose the baseline of fact in conversation, we've lost everything. We have to be able to have a conversation. We have to be able to check facts. And there's got to be a shared ground of facts beyond narrative. Does everyone get that? It's super important. The post-truth world, which the Oxford Dictionary suggested when it made post-truth the word of the year in 2016, that world is not okay. We've got to move post the post-truth world, right? We've got to have a shared truth. We've got to actually understand that we can have many paths, but there's one mountain. And at the center of that mountain, there's a set of facts. You can't say anything or everything. You can't let feeling by itself, especially when it's surface feeling. It's feeling provoked by social media feeds. It's feeling that didn't go through the prism of self-reflection, the prism of information gathering, the prism of being intimate with reality. What facts mean is that we're intimate with reality. We've gathered through the different tools of the eye of the spirit and the eye of the senses and the eye of the mind. We've gathered most intimately. We've touched as much as reality as we can. And then we've brought it together, and then we felt. Then we've actually entered into the depth of our feeling. But to actually enter into the depth of my feeling based on a Twitter feed, not based on a wider collection and integration of facts that then can be interpreted, of course. Then we can try and understand them. But we've got to start with a baseline of facts, because without that, we can't have a conversation. And I was talking to someone this week, and I send them a notice, right, of a set of facts that disagreed with the way they were thinking about things. And they said, I can't listen to that. I just turned it off. I won't be in that conversation. No, that's the second we go there, that's the end. We've always got to stay in conversation with each other. And the conversation's always got to be face to face. And we got to be looking in each other's eyes and always be willing to go deep into that conversation and talk about all the things that can't be talked about. Now, there's a right time and there's a right place for a conversation. So you don't go to your friend's funeral and have the conversation about some of the complexities of his life, because at his funeral is the time to celebrate him and to celebrate the beauty that he brought to the world, right? This week was George Floyd's funeral. Right? This is a week to celebrate George Floyd. And this is a week to celebrate, right, the movement that's been taken in the world in the last 3 weeks against injustice. There's been a movement forward in the evolution of love. We've placed our attention on injustice. And when we place our attention on something, there's opportunity. What I see in these 3 weeks, when I look at these 3 weeks, I see attention. Attention's been placed in a particular direction, and therefore there's an opening, there's an opportunity, because we bloom each other with attention. Attention opens up reality, and we'll talk about that more later today. All of attachment theory is about the quality of attention the mother places on her child. Right? When we love each other, we place our attention on each other. We've placed our attention on injustice, and attention is creative. Attention is inseparable from intimacy. So we've placed our creative attention on injustice so that evolution can turn its wheel, and we can actually stand in a world in which gradually and then immediately, and we move beyond gradual, and we make the radical demand that everyone's in the circle. And I want to say clearly, America is a great country. We don't need to make America great again. America's a great country. I'm proud of being American. I'm proud of America's commitment. Slow, halting, and hard, because the world in the mid-19th century was ethnocentric. The world was filled with slavery in the mid-19th century. And America fought a civil war. And the primary issue when you study the war was slavery, right? And, right, millions of whites in the North, white males, died to eradicate slavery. Wow. Right, to proclaim emancipation. And yes, it's absolutely true. Then there was Jim Crow, and then there was voter suppression, right? And then there was redlining. And there's not yet equal opportunity in America. And America has made enormous progress. Barack Obama talks about the greatness of America, right, as the highest of who we are, that we're aspiring with all our might, with all our soul, with all our dignity, with all our desire, with all our passion to realize. Yes, so America's a great country. America's invested more in aid to the poor around the world. America's invested more in healing, right, feminine pain around the world than any other country in the world. America's poured its resource and poured its blood, right, into standing for a good world. America is wildly imperfect. And we need to stand for everything that needs to be made better and needs to be transformed. But we need to stand for it within the context of recognizing the greatness of this dream that is the United States. And I pledge allegiance to the flag. Right? I sing of the greatness of this country. And I trust our ability to have a conversation. And I trust our ability to deepen. And so the great movement of these weeks towards placing our attention again on injustice is gorgeous and holy. And as we set our intention, there's also a great potential tragedy in these 3 weeks, which is you can feel the polarization deepening. You can feel the polarization deepening. Does everyone feel what I'm saying? Who can feel that? Who can feel it? Say yes if you feel it in the chat box. Say yes. Who can feel that? Who can feel that? Can you feel that? You can feel the inability around the world to have a conversation deepening. And that's not okay. And we've got to actually, in this moment here, right, as erotic mystics, as evolutionary mystics, as activists, we have to say yes to conversation, yes to persuading each other, yes to being impacted by each other, yes to apologizing when we're wrong, to looking at each other in the eyes and say, wow, you were completely right about that. I was completely wrong. Yes, because it's our ability to have a conversation, which is a tool that never existed in history. The ability to have a conversation itself is a great evolution of culture and consciousness. It's the most important tool we have for the healing and transformation of reality. And we can never step away from that conversation. We can never step away. There was a piece in the New York Times which made me shiver, and not in a good way, in which the writer said, we're at the end of the old journalism where we tried to look at all sides of the issue. And we're now at the place where once there's moral clarity, then writing all journalism has to support that moral clarity. But of course, who decides when there's moral clarity? We got to also be able to hold moral complexity, right? We've got to be able to hold the paradox. We have to hold competing perspectives and not make them all equal. Let me be really clear about that. Not all perspectives are equal. There's a hierarchy of perspectives, right? The more facts you gather, the more information you gather, the more you feel deeply after gathering facts, the more your perspective may well win over other perspectives. Not all perspectives are equal. Some things are more true than other things, right? Some values are better than other values. That's unbelievably important. We live in a world in which value is real. It's not contrived. It's not a social construction. There's truly good, and there's truly beautiful, and there's truly truth. And we actually can get to a shared understanding. We can get to a shared narrative in which there's great diversity. There's many voices, there's many paths, but there's one mountain. We all agreed when we saw the video of George Floyd, we all agreed that was a heinous crime. And justice spoke. And the person responsible for that crime was charged with second-degree murder. Actually, something worked. It's important. And many times things didn't work. And the video, right, is part of what made things work in that moment. And that's important. But friends, the second we stop being able to have a conversation and to feel each other and to hear each other, we've placed something essential outside of the circle, which is our very humanity. So, oh my God. And in coming weeks, we're going to talk more deeply about what facts need to be brought into the conversation that are missing and what perspectives, right, need to be checked. Right? And how do we actually come to this place where actually there's a set of first principles? And here's the last point in setting attention. It's only when we have a shared set of first principles that we actually hold together, that we're able then from that place of a common shared narrative, a shared global set of values, right? A global ethos for a global civilization, right? Once we have a global ethos for a global civilization, then we're able to bring all the facts to the table. But when we don't have, stay with me close. Is that okay, friends? If I ask that, is that okay? Right, stay super close. When we don't have a shared set of values, right? A shared set of values, the irreducible dignity of unique self, the irreducible dignity of facts. Reality is an intimate universe in which love is not weak, love is strong, right? And love is that which binds us and unites us, and that we're all unique configurations of outrageous love. And that actually evolution is going somewhere. There's an evolution of love, and we're part of that story. And each of us has a unique joy and a unique obligation and a unique gift to give. See, when there's not a shared set of first principles, and let me add, we need both first principles and first practices. We can't just have principles, we have to be practicing. We need first principles and first practices. We need to be holding those principles and practicing them together and recognizing them in our awareness every single day. So there's a shared world spirituality, right? There's a shared narrative. There's a shared story. See, once there's a shared story, then I don't need to hold on to my set of facts desperately, because my very identity, my very sense of having a narrative and having a story is based on my set of facts around a particular issue. Does everyone get that dynamic? But if I don't have a shared story, if I don't have a dharma that's larger than a social media feed, that's rooted in eternity, that's rooted in the good, the true, and the beautiful, that's rooted in the reality of value, and knowing that actually reality generates value and there's an evolution of value, but that value is real. It's not a social construction. And we all knew that when we saw the video of George Floyd. We all knew, wow, the goddess has been violated. We all knew that the knee on love was on the neck of truth and on the neck of goodness, on the neck of beauty. And we cried out. And it's good that we cried out, and we should continue crying out against every injustice. And no one's left outside of the circle. Injustice to every Black male must be cried out. And injustice to every Black female must be cried out. And injustice to every brown male must be cried out, and to every brown female. And injustice to every white male and to every white female. There's no one outside the circle. There's no one outside the circle. There can't be. That's what Martin Luther King believed in. And I stand with Martin Luther King. He believed that we want to go to a post-racial world, right? And in a post-racial world, it's about the content of your character, not the color of your skin, right? Someone said this week that the color of your skin should be like the color of your hair, right? Ultimately, it shouldn't matter in any essential way, right? We're not doing identity politics, right? It's not about blood, right? My Jewish blood, right, can't matter in an essential way if it alienates me from being part of the human race, right? We're human beings together. And then human beings need to be ultimately part of life together and part of the greater life systems. But let's start as human beings, self-reflective human beings who care and can feel each other and can hold each other and can touch each other. And then we include animals, right? We include, right, animals that we're cruel to in wet markets of China that cause pandemics, right? And we include all of life, right? Can everyone feel that? That's where we got to go. That's where we got to go, my friends. And we got to be courageous about it. And we can't let fear, we can't let virtue signaling actually take over genuine virtue. And genuine virtue means we gather facts, we gather information, and we're lifting weights, right? Actually doing work around information ecology requires you to stress your system. If you think you're absolutely clear about something, challenge yourself. Look at the other side. Hold the other side. Stop demonizing the other side, right? We got to be really careful. Got to be really careful. Okay, wow. That's a big moment. Amor. Its insides are lined with love. Okay? Its insides are lined with love. That's the true nature of reality. Reality is a love story, and it's filled with agony and it's filled with ecstasy. And everyone matters, and everything matters, and no one's outside the circle. So today, in One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain, we've been committed to sense making every week. Today, we're going to commit to filling up. We're going to fill up with the full joy of who we are, because we need that joy to be creative. We need that joy to gather information. We need that joy to stand for justice every place in the world. How many people know that today in the world, not in the mid-19th century, that today in the world, there are approximately 35 million slaves? Wow. One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain, right? We are committed to liberating those slaves. We're committed to liberating the sexual slaves all over the world. We're committing to liberating the labor slaves that are literally labor slaves today all over the world. We're committed to liberating slavery wherever it exists. We're committed to the full dignity and gorgeousness and beauty of every single human being. We're committed to race being hair color, right? Meaning we don't even notice, right? Black is beautiful, and white's beautiful, and red's beautiful, and brown's beautiful, but it's your character that's beautiful, right? Your character, my character, our character together. We can always have a conversation. Wow. So let's go inside to Amor. And then Tom is going to resonate the code. And let's blow it open today. Let's blow it open with joy. Let's blow it open with fullness. Yeah, we live in a world of outrageous pain. That is absolutely true. But we know that the only response to outrageous pain is outrageous love. And outrageous love is based on outrageous information, right? I go inside and I form myself based on the best available set of facts and knowings that my feelings can then hold, and then I can feel it all. And there's a time and a place for everything, said Ecclesiastes Solomon, right? So this week's not time to go into all the facts. And there'll be a time next week and the week after. But for now, let's step inside and let's be outrageous lovers all the way. And this week, I want to invite everyone, challenge yourself with new information. Go find all the data is available. Check things yourself. Be curious. Be open. If there's a dominant narrative flooding culture, which you're not allowed to speak against, be suspicious of that. Go deeper, right? Find a deeper truth. Wow. So here we go. Amor. Take us inside, Christina Tahel. Its insides are lined with love. Amor.
Amor,
Amor. Tom, Ronaine Goddard, my brother, my beloved. Resonate us this code. Resonate us right out through the world. Take us inside.
Thank you, Brother Mark. It's an honor to be here this week with all of you to share this week's evolutionary love code. God is the infinity of intimacy, who reveals that the infinite is intimate and not indifferent. To know God is to know the intimacy of infinity, which is to realize that we are personally addressed by the cosmos in every second. In every second, infinity asks us an intimate question, whose whisper we can barely hear. But while we are often uncertain as to the answer, we are always certain. Let me back that up. But while we are often uncertain as to the question, we are always certain as to the answer. The answer is always yes. Intimacy is unique. Intimacy transcends difference and accentuates uniqueness. And I turn my word back to you, Mark.
Oh my God. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Like what, right? Can we feel that? Okay. Can we feel that, everyone? So we're going to go into that code like so deeply, right, this week. But before that, right, we have to pray. And this is a moment to pray, right? Are we ready to pray? What do we mean by prayer? And let's go inside, because we have to know that in this moment, we're not alone. There are forces of history. There are wild coalitions of spirit that are aligned with us. And in this moment of unraveling, and in this moment of being undone, we are held. There's a deep understanding that reality is the placing of attention, right? To love is to place attention. When I love you, I place my attention on you and I bloom you open. When you love me, you place your attention on me and you bloom me open. When we place our attention on a set of facts and we're willing to look at them unflinchingly, right? We bloom reality open because we don't turn away. One of the keys to the source code we're trying to unfold here is we can step closer, we can step back, but we never look away. There's a gorgeous biblical text, and God saw, which is the text of creation. And God saw means that divinity, infinity, placed its attention on the finite. When we place our attention, we open something. When we place our attention on injustice, right, we open something new. But here it is, and it's really deep. I can only place my attention. I can only live in the depth of my greatness when I realize that love's not hard to find, love is impossible to avoid, and attention is always being placed on me. I'm always witnessed. I'm never alone. And I'm always at a protest, meaning I'm always protesting against injustice. There is no split between the public and private. Private heroism changes reality. Private heroism is activist no less than public heroism. And I need to know that that witness doesn't end when I die. I'm witnessed through eternity. Infinity loved me so much that she signed her name in me, as me, and through me. She signed her name by investing herself. She, infinity herself, invested herself in me. She wanted to experience herself through me, and she placed her attention on me and said to me, come be my partner in my own self-creation. Right? It's so deep. Why are there so many individual human beings in the world? Because infinity individuated through us. And then when I engage in placing attention on myself, and I engage in my transformation, and I engage in transcending my limitation and transcending my fear and transcending my anger, and I actually become the most gorgeous me that I can become, right? When that happens, then divinity gasps in shocking self-recognition. If you want to feel it yourself, just imagine 5 people you're close to, okay? And know that in each of those relationships, the attention that you exchange evokes a new dimension of you. When I talk to Tom, who just read the code, a different dimension of Mark appears than when I talk to Christina Amlon, right, who did the gorgeous Dharma recap, or I talk to David, right, who's not with us the week and he'll be back the week after next. Or I talk to Suzette, right? When I talk to someone, right, when I talk to my friend Ken, a different Mark emerges. So whenever we genuinely place attention, we bloom a part of each other. Does that make sense? And in that moment, the split between love, loving you, and loving and self-love disappears. Right? Does everyone get that? Who gets it? I'm going to go to the chat box because this is deep. Who gets that? Can you track that? Who gets that? Right? It's so deep. Who's getting that? Right? It's so deep. Right? When I place my attention on you and I love you madly, and you place your attention on me and you love me madly, we're actually loving each other and we're loving ourselves at the same time. Because in the placing of attention and the receiving of attention, right, my unique self, my gorgeousness, my unique divinity that has infinite value is bloomed in a way that it never was. So infinity individuates as each one of us. Reality's having a Christina Kincaid experience, and reality is saying, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. Right? I recognize myself, and to the precise extent that Christina Kincaid or Mark Goffney or Ken Wilber or Howard Bloom, right, or Claire Molinaire, right, or Pam, who visited KK yesterday, to the precise extent that I transform, that I do the work, that I gather information, that I become my own information ecology, that I do my sense making, that I commit my outrageous acts of love that emerge from that sense making, that I experience myself as a unique configuration of outrageous love, to the precise extent that Christina Kincaid individuates and perfects and polishes the gorgeousness of that individuation as goddess, then goddess becomes ecstatic in her self-recognition, having an Oriana experience, having a Lynn experience, having an Utz experience. Wow. But the only way I can do that is if I know I'm witnessed in every moment. I'm held in every moment. And that's what prayer means. Prayer means we know that everything I speak is heard. Every private conversation, every public conversation, there's nothing that's off the record. We never go off the record. And we're held in our holy and in our broken hallelujah. And attention's always placed in us. See, we view when we say when someone wants attention, oh God, he's just attention seeking. No, that's the ego. That's the separate self seeking attention to justify its own lack of self-love. Narcissism means I want your attention because I don't love myself. And if the only attention I get is from a bunch of other separate selves who die and then it's over, and we live in this world which is a tale told by an idiot full of sounds and furies signifying nothing, then pathetic grabs for attention, which we call fame, actually dominate reality. And reality becomes a win-lose metrics, right? A success story headed towards oblivion as tomorrow creeps in its petty pace day after day, right, to the last syllable of recorded time. But when we actually realize, no, actually, my life's not over when it's over. I actually participate in eternity. There's a continuity of consciousness. I am goddess having a you experience. God is having a me experience. I am infinity, clothed uniquely in finitude. And everything I do is witnessed. And every moment of pain and every moment of poignant power and every moment of breakdown and every moment of breakthrough, right? That's where heroism happens. Heroism isn't a public category. Protest is not only a public category. Heroism is a private category. And we each take our unique risk for transformation. We each take our unique risk for injustice. And when no one's going to call you out on it, she's there with us. We got to take that unique risk. We got to be there. And so we're now going to bring before the goddess, right, in this moment, right, our holy and our broken hallelujah. Because my friends, black, brown, white, red, yellow, purple, we all have a holy and a broken hallelujah. We all have a part in the contribution system. We all have a part in the joy and in the gorgeousness. And we judge each one of us by the content of our character, not by the color of our skin. And we're each desperately needed by all that is, right, to give our unique gift, and no one's outside the circle, and no injustice will be tolerated. And as Barack Obama said, the vast majority of police officers are great human beings. Thank you, President Obama. And there's no racism that can be tolerated in police departments. We've actually given the right to violence to the state. That is, as Sam Harris pointed out, one of the most important evolutions of Western civilization, that we don't have roving bands of militia. It's unbelievably important. So the police function of the state is sacred. And actually, we need the best people who are going to Yale and going to Harvard and going to Stanford to go into police work. We need to recruit, right, the most sensitive and nuanced among us, the most passionate, most gorgeous commitment to social justice. We got to go and become police officers. We've got to engage the police. We've got to engage the police as a sacred function. The police have to become priests, right? Warrior priests, right? Who are holding with infinite sensitivity and infinite gorgeous tenderness and quivering fierceness, the safety that allows the blooming, right, of society. And any racist cops, we have no room for it. We have no tolerance, zero. And we have also no tolerance for racist doctors. We have no tolerance for racist politicians. And we have no tolerance for racism, right, of any kind, whether it's Black racism within the community, which has been written about extensively by Black leaders, whether it's white on Black or Black on white or yellow on green, right? We're beyond that. Okay, so here we go. Can we bring everything now? Can we feel everything? My heart's broken open. Can we break our hearts open together? Can we feel everything? Can we feel each other? Right, and come before Goddess. We're going to go in and I'm going to ask if we can, please, that we're going to watch Leonard Cohen. He's going to sing the chant like he does every week. Then we're going to come over. Let's pray like we've never prayed before. Let's hold hands with the infinity of intimacy, who is the God Goddess that literally hears her every word, just like you hear me speaking and I hear you speaking, because we're part of the field of intelligence, the field of love intelligence. So the field of love intelligence hears every single one of us, right? No voice is unheard. No voice is unheard. And every voice must be heard. And so prayer itself is a form of protest. And so let's protest our holy and our broken hallelujah before the divine as she holds us. And let's pray like we've never prayed before. So take us inside if you can. Christina Tehel, Leonard Cohen, the holy and the broken hallelujah.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. There's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken. Hallelujah. I did my best. It wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth. I didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah.
Let's pray like we never prayed before. We're in the chat box and we pray, we ask for everything. And the prayer, our prayer, we impress our lips on the lips of the infinity of intimacy. In that space between us, we place our attention. When we pray, we place our attention and we open up possibility. So whoever wants to start, and let's take it all the way, right? Like all the way. Nathan, I pray that I can write and record songs with my friend, right? Right? How beautiful, how right? Stefan, in person, we can share with more people. Oots. And I pray for a good, right, chart to sail, right, as the wide seas of eternity, right? Medea, I pray our entire world becomes the planet of love, Mama Divine, blissfully felt in every breath, thought, and action for the flourishing of all. Lady J, I pray to be held by she. As I gather information, feel deeply into my open heart, place my attention, have the conversations that only I can have. And everyone, every conversation you have in private, right? So friends, Romans and countrymen here in one church, many paths, one mountain. Each one of us, as we have the conversations this week, I want to invite us, here's the practice, have the conversation for the sake of the whole. Have the conversation as if, because it's actually what's true, it's being held on the world stage, and the way you have the conversation changes the way conversations are had in the world. Stay open, stay in, persuade each other, right? There's a hierarchy. Admit if there's new information that impacts you and be delighted by it. Okay, let's find delight as we search for a larger truth together, right? Oh my God, Terry, I pray that I love well, right? Oh my God, right? Gino, right? I pray that I continue to feel you all in this holy and broken moment of hallelujah in history. Claire, I pray for healing between Eric and Elson, for the healing of all father-daughter relationships, right? Amen. Right, Inika, I pray for the hungry children in the townships of South Africa. Let there be food for them. May justice reign throughout the world, and may we be agents of justice, each of us, right? Inika's chosen gorgeously these townships in South Africa, since I know her, as her place of intimacy and influence. Let us all choose our South Africas. Shahati, right? Liam, I pray for wisdom and courage. Liam, it's so good to be with you, to be open to the greater reality I often fail to see. At Shahati, I pray to find more courage to stay in conversation when it gets hard. Mosa, make hats for the whole world, beloved. Unique voice, I pray that the giant hands of love cradle the whole world. Myra, welcome. I pray that I may be the sacred voice for all those who need it. Joycey, right? Pray for joy in life for all. Krista, I pray for my mother. that her broken leg may heal and she can move around again and find joy in her heart, right? Peter, welcome, Peter. May the blessing of the Father to the Son Mark told us about in the recent past be ours. Yes, right? May the blessing of the Father to the Son that Mark told us about. Yes, right? The blessing of the Father and Peter. Peter, I felt in a couple of emails you sent, I felt your fierceness. Give us your blessing of the Father, Peter. Give us your blessing of the Father. Right? Oh my God, from love, peace to all living things. Lynn, I pray for all living beings to be heard, loved, respected, for us to be love's warriors. Joyce, there's no one outside the circle ever. Joyce Hollifield, I pray to breathe and tend and sound love and union for all of life. Ina, I pray for the full living. I pray for people's superpower to be in their pure presence from my tiny house, your tiny house in your widest, most gorgeous heart. Raquel, I pray for conversations, Raquel, which will transform, which transform you, you feel me, transform. Jenna, I pray for peace, love, understanding. Marianne, may my conversations be for the sake of the whole, right? Medea, I pray for my dear Aunt Emma that she heal. Klaus, welcome. I pray for all of us to feel the awakening Tomo Amor and to bathe together, right? In love without any form of racism. Oriana, we're always at your altar. Oriana, I pray for the world feeling for the highest frequency of evolution, right? Oh my God, Tina, right? And everyone, right? And Roger, right? And Tom, right? I pray to clarify my unique self into the most outrageous lover I can possibly be, right? Roger, I pray that everyone loves outrageously in spite of the differences we hold, right? Tina, I pray that the world will be wide open, right? Knowing we're not alone in the deepest place. Kirsten Zohar, I pray that mine and our conversations are transforming and evolving the whole. Gare, I pray for my attention to justice and love. And there's no love without justice, and there's no justice without love. Christina, right? Jamie Long, right? Oriana, right? Fran, Klaus, and Tina, and Love, and Gino, right? And Roseanne, I pray for healing my mother-in-law in the hospital, right? Straight, right? Right? Oh my God, right? Oh my God, Emil, let's stay present together, brother. I pray to stay present. And we take these prayers and we weave them together like the roses that they are in the mystical tradition, and we offer them as sweet fragrance to all of reality. And let's enter as we finish just for a few minutes. We're just going to enter our code. And I want to ask you if we can do something a little bit different today, right? You know, we're going to do a short talk. We're going to do 2 short talks. So I want to hear Barbara for just 6 minutes. And I'm going to talk about this very briefly. First, I want to hear Barbara. Let's really hear Barbara. And Barbara hasn't been with us in the last few weeks in terms of her active voice and her continuity of consciousness from the next world. It's been difficult to talk about everything that's going on here. But this week, we're going to talk about something which is at the very core, and it's about something Barbara and I talked about all the time. It's about saying yes. So I want to read the code once more, and then we're going to hear Barbara. Then we're going to do a meditation together, and with that, we'll finish. But we want to let's be mystics now. We're going to do something new. We're going to actually find a new place. We're going to find something new in us. And let's now be political activists. We're now on the barricades. We're now going to protest injustice. We're going to rip our hearts open so wide in a way that we never have before. And we're going to stand for and be a new possibility. We're going to be the possibility of a yes that's never been spoken. So here's our code, right? That Tom resonated so gorgeously. God's the infinity of intimacy, who reveals that the infinite is intimate and not indifferent, right? To know God is to know the intimacy of infinity, which is to realize that we're personally addressed by cosmos in every second, that every one of us is personally addressed. And in every second, infinity asks us an intimate question whose whisper we can barely hear. But while we are uncertain as to the precise words of the question, we're always certain as to the answer. The answer is always yes. Intimacy is unique. Intimacy transcends difference and accentuates uniqueness. Okay? Wow. So take us inside, Barbara Marks Hubbard.
Thank you, everybody, for those fabulous prayers. I could feel them rising up through the evolutionary spiral, through the impulse of evolution itself that's in us. Now join the spiral. And I want to, in my sermon, trace the impulse and place it into the present. But if I trace the impulse, you know, first you could go back to the Big Bang, but then you have to go back before the Big Bang. You have to go back to no thing, as Mark puts it, before the Big Bang. And no thing we could call, as Aurobindo did, consciousness. You could call it field. We could call it source, but it's not a thing. And then it becomes the most amazing thing with the Big Bang, which, as they say, if it had been one fraction of a second slower or faster in its energy, no matter and no energy would have formed. So there's something to really remember about precision in the creative process, which seems so amazingly awesome, big and random and filled with mistakes. But that Big Bang, I am told, if it had been a little bit different, we would have had no matter and no life. So from no thing comes sourcing everything, and then comes the incredible impulse starts to reveal itself through the quarks and the electrons and the billions and billions of galaxies and so forth. And I was wanting to see and to discuss and to explore, Mark, here with us, is if my visualization of this has always been a core of universal intelligence going through the inside of the curving spiral. In other words, it's inner, and it shows up in all these spirals, and it shows up in 5 mass extinctions, it shows up in everything. But how does it actually reveal itself inside you and me? It's more than a prayer. It's an impulse. And when I feel, you might say, the infinite potential of God's impulse, as it most precisely reveals itself to you and me, in the most amazing signals that it gives. Because how do you know what to do in life? How do you know which thing to go for? How do you know what course to follow, whom to associate with, where you should live, what it should be? You have a feeling, yes, this feels good, no, this doesn't feel good. But there's something deeper than that, which might be called God's purpose, that seems to reside at the core of every one of these choices. And so if and when we are able to say yes to that inner impulse in the spiral of evolution that is in our own source, it's not so easy to know where the yes is. There's such an infinity of possibilities for that yes. So there's a particular signal, I used to call it the compass of joy, a particular signal when the selection process of saying yes, of selecting that which you affirm inside you as God's impulse, as you, and you are able to say a 100% yes, with nothing left out for that particular yes. Then I've noticed what God does. The internal, this infinity of intimacy that is God. That in order for that intimacy to be felt totally and completely, it requires an infinite yes. And with no holds barred and nothing left out and no matter what and so on.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
And
Give
that
us the word.
infinity of, so let's everyone think for a minute here of what it is you would say yes to. It's deeper even than what we're praying for. Praying is part of it, but the yes has a very positive affirmation to it. The yes turns you on. The yes makes you excited. The yes makes you the most creative thing that you've ever been in your life. Imagine, everybody, that God responds to the yes. Actually, you see, God put freedom in the system. Consciousness, freedom, and complex order. So God, when we say in this church, not only our personal yes, but let's say our collective yes to bringing forth the new story and the new possibility and the new yes. For Harari Huval, he says, yes, it will never work. And we're saying, yes, it is working. You know, not only will it work, it is working. And so I ask that you offer, that I offer, that we offer the biggest possible yes to this church.
Yes.
In our love, in our resources, and in our finances. Let's have a really shared intention for the church. Intention creates in the field of reality, in the infinity of God. Intention is what works when you say yes to it 100%. So I'm saying that. Okay, Mark, I turn my word to you as we say yes to our contribution to Life Source and Church.
Barbara, thank you. Now, let me ask you all a question, okay? And this is the last part today, but let's blow it open all the way and deeper all the way, okay? And we got Whitney Houston ready for us. Just give me a yes. Anyone in the chat box, so I know that that's ready. We're going to meet Whitney Houston's joining church today. Okay, everybody ready for that? We got Whitney Houston ready. Okay, we ready? Who's giving me a yes? Okay, right? Who's giving me a yes? And someone give me from our team, so I'll know from our team that we got a yes on that. Okay, that we got Whitney ready. Who's going to tell me from our team? Anyone going to tell me that? Not yet. Whitney's ready. Yes, thank you. Stay with me, folks. Okay, it's unbelievable. So first off, you saw Barbara. We ready to go all the way? Are we ready to go all the way now? Are we ready to go all the way? Are we ready to love it open like we've never loved it open before? Are we ready to reach in beyond the resignation, beyond the depression, right? Beyond the loneliness, beyond the feeling of hopelessness, and actually find our yes? Because our integrity lives in our yes. Our integrity lives in our yes, okay? And so what I want to ask you, right, for us to do, and Barbara, holding you completely, and I feel Barbara's living presence within us. And the veneer between worlds is very thin. We think it's not, but it's very thin. It's very thin. Eternity resides in the moment. And Barbara, I so much wanted to hear you today, and I'm so glad to hear you. Technical glitches and all. Just to hear your voice and to hear your yes, and to be present and to hold hands with you. So thank you so much. So are we ready, friends? Are we ready? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this wild, crazy meditation. We're gonna do this wild, I'm gonna turn my video off. Okay, and I'm gonna ask us if we can just focus on voice. Let's be in voice together. I wanna be just in voice together, okay? Right, there's a choice that we each make. We're now in meditation. We're in meditation. There's a choice that we each make. And the choice is, do we live from the yes of our unique self? Or do we live from the no of the ego? And every other choice that we make flows from this pivotal point in our lives. It is in this moment when we make this choice, which happens again at ever deeper levels, right? It's that moment that you choose to say yes or no to life. If you identify with unique self, which means I'm a unique expression of the field of consciousness and desire, I'm a unique expression of infinity that's needed by all that is, I say yes. And if I'm a skin encapsulated ego, if I'm merely a separate self, I'm lost in the separation of race, I'm lost in the separation of personality, I'm lost in the separation of thinking that this life is all there is and I've got to accumulate as much status as I can, then I'm always saying no. I'm always protecting my boundary. Right? There's a scarcity of resource and I can't ever find my yes. You know, in Hebrew, the word yes, kain, means integrity. Yes is the ultimate affirmation of our integrity. Emerson said, love is the universe shouting out a joyful yes when our names are called. And I want to call now the name, we want to call now the name of every human being, every white, black, red, brown, yellow, rainbow, gender, transgender, male, female, young, old, right? No one's outside the circle. When we said, when at the beginning of COVID, we heard people saying, this is just about old people. They've just got a couple of years to live. How can we threaten the economy for them? No, no. Old people with a couple of years to live are not outside the circle. No one's outside the circle. Love is the universe shouting out a joyful yes when our names are called and no name is outside the circle. How can you not love John Lennon, right? John Lennon, he writes this beautiful piece. He says, you know, when I first met Yoko Ono, she was doing a little art show in London, and I went there and there was a little white ladder that led up to the ceiling. And there's a little hanging magnifying glass and something written on the ceiling. So I picked up the magnifying glass because that's what you were supposed to do. And I looked at the writing on the ceiling through the magnifying glass. And what was written was, yes. And Lennon writes, if it had been something like ripoff, I would have left. But it was yes, so I stuck around. Love is the placing attention on the infinite specialness of the beloved. Love is saying, I feel you and you feel me, right? To love is to say yes to your unique presence, to your unique being, to your unique becoming, to your unique gift. The greatest love affair begins with our screaming of yes. So if you're up for it, anyone, as we do this meditation, whenever you can feel it, just write yes in the chat box. Let's be this yes together. If you can feel it, write yes. And as we go through the meditation, just keep writing yes. Every time you can feel yes, right? Let's participate. Let's write a yes. Remember, we came into this world trailing clouds of glory with the core knowledge of our infinite power and beauty and infinite potential. And then we hear a chorus of voices for the first years of our lives. And the word they seem to be saying is no, no, no. And we become to associate our maturity with our separate self-boundary with saying no. And when a new idea and a new possibility comes up, our first response is to figure out why it won't work, and we're brilliant at no. We've all become Dr. No, hidden Dr. No villains with advanced degrees. But somewhere deep inside, my friends, can you shout yes? Are you willing to shout yes? Are you done with your yes? Can you find another yes? But somewhere deep inside, right, that yes remains, right? The eternal child of your unique self. We know that the answer on the inside of the inside is yes, is yes. You remember Bloom, right? Bloom is a character in a book by James Joyce, and it's called Ulysses. And Joyce spends most of Ulysses portraying the no reality that he encounters in the streets of Dublin. And it's the no encountered by the main character, Leopold Bloom. And Joyce maps the life of the archetypal human, whose life is a series of unnecessary losses, of no's, the death of Bloom's son. And fill in your own details, friends, from your own autobiography, the death of his father, his daughter's leaving, the betrayals, the passing of his youth, and finally the adultery of his wife. Now stay with me, friends, and scream yes if you can. But in the last scene of the book, and this is Joyce at his most gorgeous, where literature is holy, Joyce, right, has Bloom return home to his sleeping wife. Never mind that it's a recently desecrated adultery bed. Never mind that he sleeps with his feet at her head. It's home. It's the yes of the inside. And the book ends with a crescendo of yes. As his wife pretends to sleep, we float along in her stream of consciousness, finally concluding with the reminiscences, the memory of the early ecstatic hours of her and Leopold's love. And she recovers the dream. Are you willing to recover the dream? And when you recover the dream, be 17 with me, be 15, and say that yes. And she recovers the dream, and I want to read it to you. It's the definitive return to yes. Quote, and then I asked him with my eyes to ask again, yes. And he asked me, would I say yes? To say yes, my mountain flower. And first I put my arms around him, yes, and drew him down to me so he could feel my breasts all perfume, yes. And his heart was going like mad. And yes, I said, yes, I will say yes. The yes here is sexual, but the sexual models eros. The Big Bang is the great yes of reality, right? The overwhelming perfume of eros is the yes signifying hope, promise, and possibility in the most expanded sense of eros. Let's feel it together. Wallace Stevens says, after the final no, there comes a yes. Oh my God. Do you want to open your heart as love and feel all the power and all the glory and all the love and all the goodness that ever was, is, or will be pouring into you, through you, and as you, raising you up and taking you home and screaming yes in you, as you, and through you? Are you big enough to be the one? Right? Are we big enough to be the one? Are we big enough, right, to be the lover of the one? Is our heart big enough to scream yes? Do we have enough guts, courage, and audacity to be the one screaming yes at the moment of the Big Bang? It's yes, my friends. It's yes all the way. It's where we live. The last sentence. The evolution of God does not only or even primarily take place in our sophisticated moments where all of our education is written in fancy sentences. The yes takes place every day. People all over the world whose deepest intuition is yes. Sometimes it's a hidden yes. It's a private yes. There's no audience to applause. But the yes is heard in the heaven above and in the earth below. There is nothing, my friends. There is nothing but yes. When you slumber and say no, your loneliness, fear, and contraction live in you, through you, and as you. When you awaken and say yes, then God ecstatically explodes in shocking self-recognition. When you awaken and say yes, love, outrageous love, lives in you, as you, and through you. Friends, we're going to end with Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston's going to sing a song of love. Okay? She's going to sing a song of love. And she's going to sing a song of love to one person, right? To her bodyguard in this particular movie. But I want to ask if you can feel this love song and know that this is a love song we can sing to every person in the world. There are no strangers. Everyone's always already a friend. We just haven't met yet. But every meeting's already happened. We were all together. It's the best science we have today in physics, the exterior sciences, and in the interior sciences. Where were you at the moment of the Big Bang? You were there. It was your yes and it was my yes together. We participate in that yes. Every meeting's already happened. Every friendship has already been consummated. Every great love has already happened, and we're just reenacting it. So when Whitney Houston sings, and bring her on whenever you're ready, right? I'll always love you. We're singing it to every human being on the planet, all the way. Yes, yes, yes. And I will always love you, to every person in the world. And we're here in one church, many paths, one mountain. We're here to do sense making, to evolve the source code. Only first principles will change the very core of reality. This is a revolution. It's a revolution of first principles. It's Da Vinci in a time between worlds. My friends, we can't do it without you. This is your revolution. We're holding hands together. Krista, take us inside, and in every word and every sentence, blow us away with possibility. Blow us away with outrageous acts of love. Tell us how to join. Tell us how to step up. Lady Krista, take us inside.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. I will always love you. I had tears in my eyes just feeling again that that's just not something we say, but it's something we actually mean. And it's such an honor and a gift to be part of this band of outrageous lovers. And I am here every week to invite you to come closer to this field of outrageous love, so you can feel how it wants to move in you, as you, and through you, and not just to be mystic evolutionaries here every week receiving the Dharma, but actually to become mystical activists and step into the world with our unique gifts and make our contributions in the world. And I'm going to share with you all the ways that you can participate and join here in One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain. And the first is that we meet every week on Monday. That is at 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 8 p.m. European time. And we offer you a free writing course where we are writing to the evolutionary love codes. So we receive the Dharma of this week's church and we practice and we write with it ourselves to embody it even deeper. And this course is led by Christina Amelong and myself, so I invite you to come there. I will post my email address in the chat box and you can send me an email and I will send you all the information for that. And the main practice here at One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain is to commit outrageous acts of love, to be activists in the world and share our love with the world. And we also write outrageous love stories, and that we do on our Facebook page. And I want to just show you what that looks like and invite you to join us there. All of us, we post here our outrageous love stories, and it can be outrageous love letters to ourselves, to the goddess, to each other. And it can also be the outrageous acts of love that we have committed this week or that someone that we know has committed. And this is our way of celebrating our greatness, celebrating each other's greatness in our unique gifts and inspire each other to step up more and more and more. So please come to our website, to our Facebook site, and read all of these amazing stories. And if you want to post yourself, make sure that you click here on the community tab, because this is where each and every one of you is able to post. And then we have our gorgeous website, which is onechurch.world. And if you go there, you can find here our watch page. And this is where all of the clips are being posted. All of the replays you can find here, but also the beautiful clips that we create every week with beautiful images, as you can see. So please go here and share one of these videos with your friends. We really need you to step in and invite your friends to become a part of this revolution, to become part of One Church, Many Paths, One Mountain. So look at this beautiful video and just share it with your friends. And if you click here above on the membership page, this is where you can read all about how to become a member of this awesome community. First of all, you can choose to make a financial contribution by making a one-time donation here, but you can also step in and become a member. And it starts from $25 a month, but you can choose your own contribution, as you can see. And if you do become a member, you become part of our online community and you gain access to these beautiful 9 courses, which are hours and hours of the Dharma, and you can study them on your own. But we also have our members starting study groups who are meeting every week, studying together to integrate this Dharma into your daily life. And each of these courses are have the value of 297 euros. So for $25 a month, you can already gain access to all of them and start studying yourself. I'm really looking forward to have you becoming part of our revolution and evolution of love, and I can't wait to meet you inside. Thank you so much.
It's super important. The donations, and Krista, I know you emphasized it's super important. That is Barbara did donations every week. It's what keeps us going. So take a moment now, either join the church as a member, right, which is the best, make a one-time donation. Let's actually keep it up in the chat box, right, for a couple of minutes, right, and let's find each other and bring everyone on, right, and let's make this revolution happen. Oh my God, so much mad love. Take us inside. Let's all see each other's faces. Let's keep the chat box up. Love mad and madder than mad. Oh my God.